Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. I'm so glad you joined me today for a 3D embossing folder project. It's a little bit of a tone on tone, just these couple of colors here, this beautiful Folk Doodle 3D embossing folder from Sizzix. And let's jump right into it. Now as you can see, the 3D folders are rather thick, a lot thicker than the regular embossing folders. So in order to work with this so that it does not tear your paper when you emboss, you want to lightly spritz this with water. Then add it to your embossing folder and run that through a die cutting or embossing machine. So for this I'm using the Sizzix Big Shot, and I will move over to tab 1 and only use one plate. You can use it either on the bottom or over the top of your embossing folder. So you'll quickly run that through your machine, and it does, these 3D embossing folders leave such a deep, beautiful impression. That is why I'm going for simplicity on the card this week. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. You can see it's just as beautiful from the front as it is from the back. I'm going to move on using these little scallops here from Momenta, and I'm going to do the exact same embossing just in the lower part of that folder so that I can line that up on the card front. Line up the embossing lines here. Okay, now that was on a piece of vellum just so that my sentiment will stand out. And offline I've cut the Happy Birthday Chunky Die sentiment from Creek Bank Designs. Again, all the supplies and dimensions used for today's card can be found in the description below this YouTube video. So back to the card, I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape. If you have any type of warping on your mats, as you can see I do here from the water, you can always use foam tape, and that will help straighten out your mat or whatever is a little bit warped. And then I like to come back with a liquid glue and just give it a little light coating around the edges, which will allow me to move this around on the front of my card before the foam adhesive completely sticks a permanent adhesion there. So this allows me to move it around, kind of like sliders on your furniture. Think of it that way. The glue on the foam tape allows you to move it ever so slightly until you've got it positioned where you want to, just like sliders underneath heavy furniture. Anyway, that's a little tip I like to pass along. So you can see how beautiful that is all by itself. Now to help make the sentiment stand out, this is where the vellum comes in handy. So I have glued only behind the die cut sentiment. That will never show from the back side of the vellum. Just be careful it doesn't squish around. And then simply flip this vellum panel over and only glue where you can see the back side of the sentiment. Again, this will never show from the front of the card as long as you stay within those parameters of your die cut. I'm so happy you stopped by today. I hope you enjoyed watching a card come together. This is really how quickly you can make a card like this. And by just adding the little bit of vellum and lining that up with the existing embossing underneath it on your mat, you've got a very elegant and simple card. Anyway, give 3D embossing folders a try. They are absolutely worth the money and the beauty that they bring to a card. And remember to keep things simple. Sometimes the beauty is in the simplicity. Thanks for dropping by. I would love to hear from you if you have a comment you want to leave. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you want to become a subscriber, just hit the subscribe button below this video or on YouTube or here at the end if you're watching from your laptop. Enjoy everything you're making, and happy crafting, everyone.